Hello everyone, so we're on to the second half of the Summer Movie Madness project. So the Summer Movie Madness project was a thing I thought of as I have more free time at the minute. It'd be nice to do some catch up with some films I've been wanting to see for a while. 20 films in 40 days. I thought it was a reasonable time frame, although I'm well ahead of schedule. 20 films in 40 days. And this is from the 11th film to the 20th film, a vlog of the films that I've been watching. So I'm going to actually do two films in this little bit here because I watched two kind of not quite back to back, but one evening and then into the morning. So let's start with the 11th film in this list, The Expendables. I was going to watch this at the start of August, but I thought I'd just do it early. It doesn't really matter. And I obviously know the premise of the film or the style of the film, what to expect. It's from 2010. It was big news when it came out because it was literally an all-star ensemble cast of all these different action hero actors. It was spearheaded by Sylvester Stallone. He wrote and directed it, but he brought with him Jet Li, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Terry Crews, Jason Statham, two wrestlers, Randy Couture, I don't know, some wrestler, and I think Steve Austin is another wrestler. Don't know much about wrestling. So a huge cast that were going to do a kind of a classic action flick by numbers kind of film. And that's exactly what you got. It wasn't mind-blowing. It was building and car blowing up. Yeah, it was all right. I kind of... There was one scene that I really liked when Jason Statham's character confronted some people who were friends of this guy that was beating his girlfriend. That was awesome because you were rooting for him, and it was like a moment of emotional content amongst all this bravado and machismo and testosterone filled action. But yeah, I mean, that's what you're getting when you get this kind of film. It's fine. It was fine. It was fine. It was The Expendables. I knew what was coming, and it was fine. Yeah, I've only ever seen one other Jason Statham film, and that was the one that was like a parody. I think it's called The Spy or something, with Melissa McCarthy in it, and he was like playing it straight, but it was definitely a piss take film. So I haven't seen all these massive list of action films he's done, but I thought he had the most charisma in the film. I quite liked him as a screen presence. So I don't know. I'm not really rushing to see his other Jason Statham films, but I don't know if I'll see any other Expendable films. But there we are, The Expendables from 2010. Second one up was another action film, but a very different kind of action film. This was a relatively recent addition to the Predator franchise, and this is from 2022. It's called Prey, and it was set in the 1700s or 1700s, I think. And it's all based around the Comanche tribe, and it was mainly based around this one female character who had to face the Predator using ingenuity and clearly not brute strength. And yeah, it was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. You got to just suspend your disbelief a bit, but then clearly that's also the case with this souped up Rambo thing that I was just talking about. It's a smaller film. It was just as predictable in many ways. Yeah, I think I was expecting more because I've wanted to see this one for a while. I think I was expecting a better film, but I don't know really why or what I was expecting because it it was really, when you think about it, exactly what you would expect from that film. The Predator was slightly different, actually. It's a different kind of Predator, apparently. But yeah, well acted, well put together. It was fine. Okay, next up is a film I would describe as a perfect film. A perfect film. I just couldn't believe it. I was dying to watch this. When I saw the trailer, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. And I'm a huge fan of the director. This is the fourth film he's done, fourth full-length film he's done, and I've seen the other three. So he did Seven Psychopaths, and then he did In Bruges, and then he did Three Billboards. What's the full title? Three Billboards, something, Missouri. Can't remember the full title, but I'm sure you know which one I mean. And now, recently, so what was this, 2022, he did the Banshees of Inisherin. The Banshees of Inisherin, and again, it was Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell reprising their on-screen relationship, not the characters, but the chemistry that they had in Bruges. But oh my God, the script was ridiculous. Like, every line was amazing. It was almost poetic sometimes. And the way it was directed was beautiful. The acting was phenomenal. There was a very small cast, and all of them were amazing. And it was such an unusual film. I'll give you the premise, and I won't tell you what happens because of this premise, but basically I'll just tell you that these are lifelong friends, Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell, lifelong friends. And one of them decides he doesn't want to be friends with the other guy anymore. That's it. That's the plot. And Martin McDonagh, he created a masterpiece out of this simple plot. It is genuinely a masterpiece. It's amazing. I would recommend anyone that is interested in a thoughtful, clever, emotional, thought-provoking film to watch The Banshees of Inisherin. Unbelievable. Over here, it's on Disney Plus. I don't know if it's on a Disney Plus in America, but find a way of seeing it wherever you are. Such an incredible film, The Banshees of Inisherin by Martin McDonagh. Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson. Just completely blown away. Absolutely blown away. And I'm definitely going to see it again. I'll leave it a little while, but I'll watch it again because the dialogue is just... it's just amazing. The Banshees of Inisherin. Let me know if you've seen it in the comments below. So this film is from 1971. It's a French comedy by Jacques Tati. So Jacques Tati is a legend in French cinema, kind of compared to Buster Keaton a lot. His films aren't silent, but the dialogue's really weird and it's kind of at a distance and it's like mumbled a lot. And he's a very stylized filmmaker. And often they're visual gags, often with like movements of people or objects mirroring stuff that's happening in the scene, or other scenes combined together with similar movement. Kind of visual gags. Don't know if that made any sense. But Trafic was a huge disappointment. So this was, I think, the only film with this character that I haven't seen. So this character, Monsieur Hulot, is Jacques Tati's famous character, like the big Macintosh, the pipe, and the hat. In French cinema, probably as famous as Chaplin's Tramp, and obviously nowhere near as many films. But you've got Joie de Fête, you've got Playtime, and Monsieur Hulot's Holiday, and Mon Oncle as well. Mon Oncle and Monsieur Hulot's Holiday are really good. The first time I ever discovered him was a short film called Les School. What's it called? Les Écoles de Facteurs, School of Postman School. Les Écoles de Facteurs, which was, I thought was amazing. I loved it. That was when I was a teenager. And yeah, it's kind of an icon in French cinema. But this was just not very funny. And it was like proper feature-length film, and it was quite boring. There was one bit that I laughed where this woman thought that her dog had died, but these kids were playing the prank on her, and then he's trying to explain, and it's making her really upset. And that bit was funny. That made me laugh out loud. And there was one other bit that made me laugh out loud. I can't remember what it was, but it was a long film where there was only two very quick moments that I thought were funny. So, yeah, a little bit of social commentary, but not really very strong. Not one of his best films. So, I would say if you want to watch Jacques Tati films, avoid Trafic. Which, avoiding Trafic is a good idea anyway, really, isn't it? Okay, the next one is another French film. So this is a more recent French film. Came out 2024 officially, but I think it's only just appeared over here, called Family Pack. It's written and directed by Francois Ozon, who has apparently had a massive hit TV show called Lupin in France. It was a police detective kind of show. But this is effectively a French Jumanji. So it's a family that are playing this game that's popular in France, where you have to hunt for the werewolf in a set in medieval times. And each character has got special powers. And the family get transported to medieval times. And there's a werewolf issue. And it's so funny. It is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Really, really loved it. I was just completely bowled out. Honestly, I really loved it so much. It was really funny. Most of the lines were funny. I'll give you an example of the humour. So when they get transported to medieval times, they clearly don't know it's happened. And there's a medieval fete happening down the road. And they leave their house and they assume that what they can see around them is the medieval festival thing. And one of them says, Christ, the budget is huge for this thing, which I think is really funny. And then when the mum is trying to buy something at the market, she says, do you take card? She takes a card out. And then he's like, what's that? And then he clearly has never seen anything like that before because it's the 1400s, 1497, I think it's set in. And she says something like, well, you're not going to do very much business if you don't take card. And it's that sort of thing. It's really funny. And it does a little bit of a Galaxy Quest thing where halfway through you really care about the characters and it gets very serious and it becomes more of an action thing towards the end. But the humour stays consistent throughout the whole thing. And it's so funny. It's brilliant. I absolutely loved it. That's one of my favourite discoveries out of all of this little project because I hadn't heard of it. Came up on Netflix. And I was like, what's this? And I think it's been a big hit in France because Netflix seemed to be giving it a bit of publicity. And it was so good. It was so funny. So, yeah, Family Pack. If you get a chance to watch it, it was so good. Really, really loved it. It's really funny. Okay, the next one is from 2005, The Man with the Screaming Brain. It's written and directed by Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell is obviously most famous as the actor that's in all of Sam Raimi's films, but the lead actor in the Evil Dead trilogy. And he's a bit of a cult hero, if you like a cult classic. And I was going into this thinking it might be a bit of fun. It's a curiosity. It defines quirky and cult. It's very odd. It's got a weird campy style that reminds me of the Troma films. So I don't know if you've seen any Troma films, but it reminded me of that. But there's a Sam Raimi-esque element to it as well. Some of the humour and some of the situations. Sam Raimi co-wrote the film with him, and Ted Raimi plays a massive part in it. So his brother, Sam Raimi's brother, Ted, plays a massive part in the film. He plays Pavel, who's an assistant to the mad scientist in the film. The mad scientist is played by Stacy Keach. And Stacy Keach does this very committed performance of this Russian mad scientist. It's full of very odd accents and campiness and There's a huge sequence in the middle where Bruce Campbell beats himself up, just like he did in Evil Dead 2. So that's a little bit weird. I think there was a recent film as well where Bruce Campbell did that again. Just a little nod. What was it? It was a film that he just did a big quick cameo in, and he sort of does this against his will, and again a reference to Evil Dead. But anyway, it's a very strange film. I don't think I enjoyed it that much. I was just moving along with the quirkiness of it, really. But The Man with the Screaming Brain, about I'll give you a bit of the plot. So I'll give you some idea of who was in it and who did it and all that. Basically, the premise that made me want to watch it as well was the description was something like a wealthy businessman and a Russian taxi driver end up being murdered by the same woman, and a mad scientist fuses their brains together and they go out for revenge to kill the woman that killed them. It's a ridiculous film. Okay, 2 more movies for the summer movie madness thing. Don't know why I can't say summer movie madness. 2 more films in this little bit. So I'm going to do 2 at once. First one was from 2013, and it's Ender's Game. So I've known about Ender's Game for a long time, and obviously it's a very popular novel. I haven't read the novel. I didn't really have it on my radar until I started doing BookTube, and then I started thinking, oh yeah, maybe I could read this because everyone loves it. I know that there's a lot of controversy with Orson Scott Card, but I genuinely didn't have it on my radar anyway until recently, and just haven't got around to reading it. I wasn't massively motivated, but the thing with the film is that my son absolutely loves the film, and he's been telling me for years that I should see it. And for a while I was going, oh, I'll read the book first. And then in the end, it's taken me so long, I thought, oh, I'll just do it. And we were chatting about films I've already seen for this challenge. And he's like, Dad, watch Ender's Game. I keep telling you to watch Ender's Game, so just watch it. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll watch Ender's Game. And it's really good. I tell you what, though, he was 12 when it came out. And I can absolutely see why that would be life-changing watching. If you're a sci-fi fan as a kid, which I was and he was, and you've got this great plot with this really important comments about war and the motivations for war and the justification for war or lack of, and that kind of thing. It's really good. So there's a bit of a Full Metal Jacket thing going on in the first half. Full Metal Jacket was a very powerful film for me when I was younger, but you got that training stuff happening, and that's done really well. And you really hate the big bully in the center of the film. But yeah, I mean, just a really, really good film. But what made it for me really was the last sort of 20 minutes or so. That was fantastic. Definitely very, very good film. And the same day, I've watched another one. I'm actually rattling through this challenge very quickly. So this 20 films in 40 days, I won't need 40 days. But anyway, that's another thing. I might talk about the whole hyperfixation thing. I'm not sure, at some point in another video. But I don't know. I seem to make videos about random things sometimes. But anyway, from 2019, I've got to get this right. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. This is way out of my radar. I was not going to watch any of the Fast and Furious films, so I haven't watched any of them. But this one just started when I had the TV on, and I could tell it was the first minute. It literally just started, and I was just sort of sat there. And 10 minutes in, I thought, oh, well, I could include this in this challenge because it'll be interesting to compare it with the other action films. And I do think that Jason Statham has presence on screen. Clearly, Dwayne Johnson definitely does. And Idris Elba definitely does. So the 3 of them carrying this film is quite interesting. And I've now discovered that Vanessa Kirby has a lot of presence as well. I didn't know her before Fantastic Four, and she was a big part of this film as well, and she's got fantastic screen presence. So I thought, the charisma of the characters might make this more than just an average action film by numbers. But there were some extra little moments that were quite different as well. I mean, the banter between the characters was good. It was very witty, and sometimes I laughed out loud, which is, I think, quite important for a film like that. If it's too serious, it can get a bit dull. And halfway through the film, I was thinking, okay, I'm a bit bored now, but it got a bit fresher with Samoa and this sort of the way they brought some of the traditions in and the family and all that sort of stuff was quite interesting. And yeah, the car chases are quite inventive, to be fair. But yeah, it was fine. These films, most of the time, there's going to be some exceptions, but these films most of the time like go along with the formula, and what makes them separate is usually the characters and the actors, but ultimately they are pretty much the same sort of thing. So yeah, I did think it was better than the Expendables, and did I see anything else like that? Well, the Amateur, the second one that I reviewed was a bit different, I thought, because it was an action thing, but it wasn't action through physical violence or physical melee fighting. It was an action thing with explosions that was set up by an intelligent man that was manipulating electronics and machines, and the AI and the surveillance system and all that kind of stuff. So I think that made it a bit different anyway. But the ones with big hunky beefcake men beating each other up, if you're going to compare the Expendables with this one, the Hobbes and Shaw, this one definitely was better because there was a slightly more layers, and the script was wittier, and it felt less formulaic, even though it clearly was quite formulaic. So yeah, that was fun. It was a fun film. It was good, but I think I would get a bit tired of watching that kind of thing if I watched too many of those kind of things. Okay, so the next film is The Boy and the Heron. This is a Japanese film from Studio Ghibli. So if you know much about Studio Ghibli, they've made some amazing animated films, family films, with really deep philosophical stories. They're kind of fables. And this is definitely like that. But Miyazaki, who's the very famous director that directed Spirited Away and a number of others, he came out of retirement for the film. So he retired many years back, but came back from retirement in 2013 because he was interested in doing this project. And because of COVID and various other reasons, it took him quite a long time to make the film. And it ended up being apparently the most expensive film that's ever come out of Japan. And it ended up being the 5th highest grossing Japanese film of all time. So that's pretty amazing. What was it like? It was really good. It's funny because for the animation films, I don't think he would mind and the studio would mind if I listened to an English speaking cast doing the ADR overdubs. It's a bit different, isn't it, with an animation film? But for some reason, I felt like I should watch it with Japanese subtitles with the Japanese cast, which is what I did. But it's an animated film, so I will always watch a subtitled film with the original language being spoken because I'm watching the actors act. But that's not really a thing with the animation films, is it? Because I'm not watching. That's not changing through hearing another voice, because the animation is the animation. Whereas obviously with an actor doing it in live action, you're not watching. There's a disconnect between what you're watching and what you're hearing. Whereas if you're watching it in the original language with subtitles, you're watching it. You're watching the actor's performance fully. So it is a bit odd that animation is different, and yet I still felt compelled to watch it with the Japanese cast. But there we go. It's one of those things. But But yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was a very beautiful film. It's a very nice send-off, if you like, because I think he considers that to be his last film. And it's a very beautiful film about death, about changing the world for the better, about life, you know. It's got a huge sense of adventure. It's about a little boy who his mother dies and he moves into this place with his newly adopted mother, if you like, and his father as well, who's out working a lot. And there's a tower near where they live in, and that tower ends up being a portal into this other sort of fantasy realm that he discovers through this heron, this talking heron that takes him through it. And through that he discovers a chance to see his mother and meets all these other characters that change his life. It's very slow, so just to let you know, I don't know if you've seen a Studio Ghibli film before, they tend to be quite slow, and if you've got the patience for it, then you'll really appreciate it. It's a very beautiful film. But if you're one of those people that wouldn't really want that kind of pace, then that's definitely something worth mentioning, because it is definitely a very slow film. But I thought it was really good, and I'm really pleased to have seen it. And I think Studio Ghibli is an amazing animation studio. Let me know in the comments if you've seen any Studio Ghibli films, which ones you like. Okay, so the last film, I knew this was going to be the last film a few films ago, and I wanted to finish this little project with this film. And I looked on Amazon Prime, which I'd heard that's where I could find it, and it's not on Amazon Prime now. Well, it is, but you have to buy it, so it's not free on Amazon Prime. So anyway, I thought, that's a shame. And then I remembered that I set it to record on my normal TV, because Film 4 was going to show it today. So I set it to record about 2 weeks ago, when I was just flicking through to see what was coming up. And I'd always wanted to see everything, everywhere, all at once, because I kept getting told that I'd love it. It was I kept getting told, this is your kind of film, Gareth, you've got to watch it, you'll love it, blah, 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 blah. Came out in 2022 and got lots of awards, and I was loving the Oscar ceremony when they were going up, and you know, it was such a lovely year that was, where all sorts of surprises was happening, and there were some lovely speeches, and I do like the Oscars in general, but that film in particular got lovely reaction, and it seemed to be a very loved film and a very nice film in the sense that its message was very strong and positive and all that. So I was looking forward to discovering it. And if you don't know what it is, basically it's a very surreal, twisty, turny, trippy, psychedelic adventure through a Chinese immigrant's relationship with her daughter and her husband, mainly through the parallels to other equivalents of her relationships in parallel universes. So it's a fractured relationship in the main timeline or main universe in both relationships. So her relationship with her husband and her relationship with her daughter. Her daughter's deeply unhappy, and her husband's frustrated but loves her, and that all gets explored, and basically there's like a black hole that's been created to destroy everything, and if she can't sort that all out, then it'll all get destroyed. And it's done really well. In the beginning I thought, okay, they're setting up the relationships, this is cool. I had a feeling of where it was going to go, because I'd heard enough about it to know what the plot was in general, but I didn't know how it's going to play out. But I knew it was a parallel universe thing, so I was waiting for that to happen. And when it does happen, it's crazy, and it does all sorts of things where some of it's dramatic and some of it's just funny, and some of it's referencing other things that's almost like a parody of other things, and yeah, some of it's just genuinely funny. But then after probably a couple of hours, I don't know how long it was until this happened, I started getting a bit like parallel universe fatigue for a moment, and then it whipped me back in again when the relationship started getting really real, and there was some really good dialogue about mostly the relationship between Evelyn and her daughter, and that stuff starts getting tied together, and that was really good, and it was a really good ending, and I just thought in general it was really, really good, and I feel like that's going to stay with me. I think this film's going to stay with me for quite a while. So extremely impressive film, and definitely worth watching. It's quite a unique film, even though lately the parallel universe thing has been done to death, but usually for sort of fun entertainment reasons. This was done to explore the frustrations of life and the difficulties in close relationships. There's a lovely bit at the end where the daughter's like saying, you know, this disappoints me, this disappoints me, this frustrates me, this frustrates me, this disappoints me. And the mum sort of says, yeah, well, that's exactly the same for me. And yet this is where I want to be with you, even though these things frustrate me, but I always want to be with you no matter what, which is a parent's love for their children, or certainly should be. But certainly that's how I define parents' love for their children. And that was a really powerful moment. And yeah, it was a beautiful film, even though it was pretty psychedelic in the middle. So yeah, really, really good film. So like I did with the first 10, I'm going to go through them again and give them ratings. Going to switch to the side so that the picture of Chico is going to be replaced by an image of the film. So The Expendables, I watched that film and I gave that a 6 out of 10. I thought it wasn't bad, but it wasn't particularly amazing. So it just nips over the 5 into a 6 out of 10. Then Prey, one of the latest films in the Predator series. It was 2022, so it might still be the latest. I'm not sure, but I gave that a 7 out of 10 because I thought it was slightly better than Expendables, but it still wasn't amazing. Then there's Trafic, the 1971 Jacques Tati film. That was a huge disappointment. I was really disappointed, as you may remember from the early part of this video. So I'm giving that a 3 out of 10. So I'm pretty sure that's the lowest number out of all these 20 films. I just thought that was a complete waste of my time, which is really sad because I like Jacques Tati's other films, but I didn't like Trafic. And then whipping back to the other side of the coin, the Banshees of Inisherin is the only film out of these 20 films I'm giving a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I think that film is incredible, and I would just recommend it to everybody just in case you like it. So it's a very talky film. It's a very realistic, very similitude film. If you aren't into watching relationships in a film or whatever, then maybe you won't love it, but I'm still going to recommend it because it's such an incredible film, just in the hope that you like it and it hits you. It's such an odd film, but you may still like it, even if you're not into sort of realistic films. But yeah, such an amazing film. Banshees of Inisherin gets my only 10 out of 10. Family Pack, I really loved that film. I thought it was really funny. It was a really big shock. It was a big surprise. I had no expectations. Really loved it. Every single scene and most of the dialogue, I revelled in it. So I gave that a 9 out of 10. I thought it was brilliant. It didn't get a 10 out of 10 because I don't think it's going to be one of my favourite films, but I really loved it. So 9 out of 10 is a good score in my book. And then Man with the Screaming Brain. Oh, this is another low score. That wasn't good. Another film that I watched for fun that I thought would be enjoyable, and it was barely enjoyable. And that was getting a 3 out of 10. Giving that a 3 out of 10. And then Ender's Game. I watched that because I finally gave in to the nagging from my son, and I gave that an 8 out of 10 because I thought it was good. Sorry, I'm distracted by Rosie. Rosie can't jump anywhere without using her claws, and it means that she just trapped herself. You want to say hello? Where was I? Okay, so the next one was Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. I gave that a 6 out of 10 because it was enjoyable, but it clearly was never going to be one of my favourite films, really. And as I said in that little bit in the video, I said if I kept watching films like this, I would get so tired of it. But yeah, it was good fun, and it's slightly better than the Expendables. I gave it the same amount, but yeah, it was just all right. 6 out of 10. And then The Boy and the Heron was the next one. I gave that a 7 out of 10 because it was really good, but it was a very, very slow pace, and overall I did like it. It was good, but I think it could have been shaved a little bit. And then the last one, Everything Everywhere All at Once, a very easy 9 out of 10. It was everything that everyone said it was. Really, really good film. So there we are. That's my little project done. And just to kind of let you know, something I haven't said yet is that I do kind of hyperfixate. It's one of the things in my personality that is apparently an ADHD trait. I'll never get it proven. Don't think I've got it because it takes years. But every single project I've done on here, I've done it by obsessing about it, and then I've scheduled up the videos to death. And with this one, I thought 20 films in 40 days should be fine. And I've done 20 films in 15 days. So that's the danger of me setting myself a little project or a goal that I end up just concentrating on that. So yeah, I've seen 20 films in 15 days. It's been great. And I want to keep this up, but I don't know how to keep it up. But I'd like to do something every month that's related to films. Suggestions in the comments will be very, very welcome. I was thinking, do I do like 5 films at the end of the month, or do I try and find some sort of alliteration to give it a name somehow? The monthly movies, or I don't know. But anyway, I'll have a think about that. But thanks for watching, and please comment below on the films that I've seen. And if you haven't seen Banshees of Inisherin yet, go watch it. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, everybody.
Picture of what it's like to be you.